Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our fourth and final round of our 2020 Google Summer of Code final showcases. So we have been happy to have our showcases for our 20 interns spread out across the past 2 weeks and are eager to share with you the efforts of the final four students who haven't had a chance to present yet. So let me just briefly recap which presentations we've seen and what are on schedule for today. So once again, thank you to all of our interns and their mentors for their valuable contributions this past summer. We're eager to have you stay on as long-term members of the community and look forward to having the rest of the community help to continue to engage with you and really feel like a long-term member and that you deeply belong in many ways. So just to recap, on the first showcase we had on September 8th, we had 2 demonstrations of the ongoing work to the new web app, which we're aiming to roll out within the next 1 to 2 months. Apache demonstrated the new digital bank UI on top of Fineract that he's been working on. And then on the mobile side, Jinmei walked us through the extensive changes he made to build out an Android SDK, and Devansh showcased the latest version of our mobile wallet application. And then on part 2 of our showcases, Yash did a demo of our Vision PPI app. Garvit demonstrated the latest enhancements to the mobile banking app on top of Fineract CN. Shivangi did the same for the mobile banking app on top of Fineract 1.x. And then Montan showcased all of his extensive efforts in code refactoring and completing our Swagger API documentation. Nasir demonstrated what's been achieved so far in migrating the ORM from OpenJPA to EclipseLink. And then lastly, Ankur showcased the progress made on our reference open banking fintech app. And then this past Tuesday, we had Shashank demonstrate the latest version of our field operations app for Fineract 1.x. Manish showcased the latest iteration of our online banking app. And then Ashwin shared all of his efforts in converting our customer-facing apps to Kotlin to leverage multi-platform capabilities. Shubham showcased the GSMA Mobile Money API connector that he built on top of the Payment Hub EE. And lastly, Mehul demonstrated the progress on credit scorecards and machine learning. And up for our schedule today is going to be Ashutosh leading us off with the 2 phases of his project. First off will be the configuration wizard he built on top of the new web app UI. And then secondly, some of the operations UI screens he built for the Payment Hub Enterprise Edition. And then today, Ahmed is going to go through all of the new features he built on our mobile application for field officers on Fineract CN. Percy is going to showcase his efforts around improving code quality and testing coverage across Fineract. And then Rahul is going to demonstrate the credit bureau integration that he's focused on primarily for Myanmar at the moment. So with all that being said, I'm going to ask Ashutosh to begin sharing his screen, and we'll let you take it away with your showcase.
Sure, sir. Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello. So this summer, I got a chance to work with the Mifos initiative, and I worked on 2 projects. One was to build a configuration wizard for the new web app for the ease of new users to get familiar with the web app and some initial configurations. After that, I added some screens in the PHE operations UI app. So I will start by showcasing the configuration wizard that I built on the new web app.
Oh, and then Ashutosh, have you started sharing your screen yet?
No, I am going to share now.
Oh, okay, great, perfect.
Okay, are you able to see the screen?
Yeah, it's visible.
So basically, I wanted to say I have also hosted the configuration wizard branch on my GitHub pages. If anybody wants to know after this showcase, then they can go to this link to see how configuration wizard works. Thank you. So see, first the user will click here. Now there are mainly 6 workflows in the configuration wizard. One is initial home screen tour, the other one is to set up organization, then set up system, then accounting, then products, and then funds and reports. So let's choose home screen tour. So first it will take us to through all the things that are present on the main screen. If the user wants to like go to the previous popover, then he can also go to the previous popover. If the user also wants to like close this configuration wizard, then the user can close it at any time by clicking on this close button. Now the tour of home screen is complete. Now the configuration wizard will give us option to go to the next workflow, that is organization workflow. So we will start with the offices one. In each workflow, what this configuration wizard will do is first it will give us the tour of everything that is present on the screen, and then it will give option like it will come. I'll tell you. Now on the next page, it will give us option if I would like to create office or I would like to go to next step and others. Let's say I want to create an office. If the creation of the office is successful, then it will give me options like if I want to create more offices, if I want to close the configuration wizard, or I want to go to next step. Sorry. Here again it is giving me option to add a currency, or if I want to go to the next step. Let's go to next step to save some time. Now the tour of organization workflow is complete. Now we will go to the systems workflow. Now the setup of systems workflow will be complete, as it have given us the tour of all the things that were needed for the initial setup. Now we will go to accounting. Now the setup of accounting is complete. We will go to products workflow. Now the setup of products workflow is also complete. Now we will go to the last workflow, that is to set up funds and manage reports. Now here also it is giving us options to add funds, or if I want to go to the next workflow. Now the setup of this configuration wizard is complete. Now by the now user may know about the basic things that are present in the web app and some initial setups like to for currencies, offices, etc. Now the user can close configuration wizard. This is all that I have worked on adding configuration wizard. After that I worked on adding some screens in the PHE operations UI app, and I am going to show now which screens and what things I added in PHE app.
Oh yeah, before you do that, Ashutosh, just wanted to ask one question. So about the configuration wizard, you
Yes, sir.
built these components, right? So this could be utilized in other, like in our other
Yes,
web
sir.
projects as well. So
Yes. Yes, sir. Earlier,
okay,
what I was going to do was to use some another third-party library like Intro.js or Shepherd.js, but then what I decided to use the already dependency that we have already present in web app, that was Angular CDK, Angular Material. So using them, I have built this configuration wizard. So we do not need any third party to use this configuration wizard. So it will be very easy for us to use this in any other app.
okay, thank you. Yeah, that was very extensive. This will be a valuable tool
Yes, sir.
for those to, be able to understand what are the different parameters to configure and guide their own implementation in a
Yes,
self-guided
sir.
manner. And thank you to Bharat for helping provide instruction on
Yes,
which
sir.
steps
He
to
has
include
helped me a
throughout.
lot during the journey. Shall I show the screens that I have developed
Yes,
in PHP?
yes, please continue. Thank you, Ashutosh.
Yes. So the main things that I added in the PHE operations UI app were outgoing requests to pay and incoming requests to pay. These were the screens. Presently, there is no data on the server, so that is why they are empty. Now, the other things that I worked in PHP operations UIF was like this, the color here and this table, and then like if I click on this, then I added like refund dialog if the user wants to refund, or the BPM and diagram if the user wants to see the BPM diagram of a transaction, and like I have added this feature now. User, if I want to see the initial steps of the process, like how the transaction completed, what were the processes involved, so user can see from here. Then I formatted this JSON parameter. Earlier it was looking quite ugly in single line only, but then I added using a custom built pipe. This is what I have done in PHE operations UI app, sir. May I stop sharing my screen now?
Yeah, just one moment, Ashutosh. Is the BPMN diagram, is that working
They
on this
currently
local?
do not work, sir, because at that when I added this feature at that time the API was not available. And now if the API is available, I will complete this. No issue regarding it. I do not know if the API is available right now.
Okay. Oh, and then Avik, or Ashutosh, Avik had a question. He asked, is the configuration wizard configurable? So can you, change and modify the steps that are included in there?
Sorry, sir, I didn't get the question. Like
Uh,
how?
so uh, yeah, Avik was wondering if, like, in the configuration wizard, is it configurable in regards to being able to, change the different steps and the
Like if
text
I
that's
want,
displayed in the popovers, etc. So,
sir, actually they are coded by me like popover. If I want to change, then you we can definitely change the code. Or if he is asking, like if I want to go to any middle workflow, then yes, we can go to any middle workflow by selecting any workflow from this screen. If I'm getting the question, then this is the answer. I think this is was the question. Okay, let me see.
yeah, let me just allow Alec to come off mute so he can
Yes, sir.
further elaborate on his question. Avik, I think you can unmute yourself if you wanted to add more detail to your question for Ashutosh.
I think like I got what Ashutosh was trying to say.
Okay, yeah, and I think then if you like, it'll be part of like the web app UI code soon, and then if you needed to modify it prior to your implementation for a customer, that
Yes,
could be done. But
if you want, I will write a very detailed documentation, like how it has been implemented and all the things, like how the code is working and the background processes that are taking place while we are using configuration wizard.
okay, that would be helpful. But thank you, Ashutosh, and
Yes,
then
sir.
we'll also appreciate the contributions you made to the community app at the end of Summer of Code in helping with some of the work to get towards this next release. So really appreciated all your efforts
Sir,
and what you're able to accomplish.
I wanted to say that currently I'm getting no time because of internship interviews that are happening right now. As soon as I get time, so I will start working on the community app. As after that, I will be having a lot of time to work on issues.
Okay. Thank you, Ashutosh, and best of
Yes,
luck
sir.
with those
Thank you, sir.
interviews. And yeah, thank you to Bharat again for guiding Ashutosh around the functionalities within the configuration wizard, and to Autumn for the oversight around the payment hub screens. Okay, so I think Ahmed right now, he's dealing with a electricity cut. So if he's able to get online today, we'll have him showcase later. But for now, let's have Percy give his showcase. So Percy, when you're ready to share your screen, Percy was one of the 3 Apache Fineract interns, and he has worked on a number of, the long outstanding tasks related to improving some of the code quality, updating some of the key dependencies in the app, and increasing the testing coverage within Fineract. So Percy, whenever you're ready to come off mute and share your screen, we'll have you showcase your efforts next. Yeah, and I think we can hear you now, Percy, but we're still waiting on the screen share. So.
Oh, can anyone see my screen now?
Yeah, your audio is a little faint though, Percy. We can see your screen, but if you can get closer to your microphone or,
Okay. It's
Yeah.
better now.
Yeah, that's a bit better. So.
Okay. Hello everyone. This is Anshu, and I'll be during the summer. I worked on improving the code quality and test coverage. So on the agenda, we have the project overview, what I set out to do, the objectives, the section on error prone, Java time migration, and measuring test coverage. So Fineract has a very large code base, and knowing that it will be very difficult to find bugs, we thought that would be wise to integrate an error-prone static analyzer to find bugs that will be difficult to find manually. And with the date API depreciated with and the use of Jota API already integrated in Java time, I was decided that we should use Java time. We should all converge to Java time API to to strengthen Fineract, and coverage also is an important feature that we wanted to add to Fineract so we can measure which package has low coverage and strengthen the branch testing so we can be sure that the app is very well tested. Okay, so first of all, speaking on how what I did to integrate Europol and enforce relevant checks, then the migration from Java time to Java time, then measuring code coverage. So first off, Europol. So Europol is a static analysis tool for Java that catches common programming mistakes at compile time. So with this, it provides errors and warning notifications during the build. When you run Gradle clean build, it will show you the common errors and notifications, and it is compiler. So it also produces suggested fixes for common errors, and there's a very huge selection of bug patterns I can see. Some are experimental and others are really standardized already. So they are grouped under errors and warnings. And during this summer, we decided to send all warnings to errors. Like if in case in the future will all the warnings or all the checks are already as errors, and in the future it can easily be modified to select the check severity. So these are the list of the checks that I I introduced in the course of in the course of 3 months. So that them is all of them. I'm not sure I've counted all yet. Okay. So for example, let's take the bug pattern compared to zero. The, this bug pattern, so during the course of the 3 months, I had to first all checks out Fineract was not compliant to. I had to fill comment them out. Then once I want to integrate them, I'll come and look at the list and check on the Aeroprone website for the bug patterns, these details. So when I uncomment it, I'll also fix all the bug, all the failures on the build when everywhere I'm fixing the lines. So for this compared to zero is simply an error that states that compared to should be used only compared to zero, and because and they give the details here and state that it result integer which is it should be less than zero for if the values are comparing the value is less than the value you're comparing to, or equals to zero, or greater than if it's greater than zero if it is greater than the value you're comparing to. So for example, if we use compare to, I say and equals equated to one, this shows that the person is trying to find out if the value is greater than the big decimal zero. So instead of using this, we're supposed to check with greater than equals to, I mean, greater than zero. This will show that can get the value down, know for sure that the value is greater than the big decimal zero. If and it can also be different from cases I was stated on the bug pattern that it's not always guaranteed to be always to be these values, and it can also be different from these values here, from these values. Okay. And they show and they'll give once you run Gradle clean build, it will show you the line where the error occurs, line 154, and it gives you where the detail is, and can sometimes provide suggested fix for common errors, and it gives you the link to the websites that I just showed you for the details. Okay, that's done error prone. So I did that for all the checks. So from migration to Java time, as we thought it wise to, since that the date API has been depreciated, I want to move now to the Java time API, which has already integrated Jota time. Jota time is largely finished, and there are no major enhancements are planned for it. Even you are advised to that if you are using Java 8, you should move to Java time. That is a good step, and it provides a lot of performance and has a lot of features. So and we're trying to convert everything to Java time. But now this entails for what to replace the Jota API that is already. Then the next step is to replace the date API. So this is the period that contains most of what I did to modify most of the files. But most of the issues I faced during this season was about the date time formatter for Java time is a little bit stricter. That it entails that you have to pass linem, and there are some cases where during the integration test some values were being sent for the day without a zero. They put double M, but it was sending just one value. With Jota time, it will pass, but with Java time, you have to pass by linear, or make sure that if you strictly follow the format. So, and also had to change for null, introduce null checks, because there's some places where the Jota easily accommodate for null. So when there's null, you easily just give the current date. But Java time requires that it does not take null values, and also there are many changes that I did also in this sphere. I don't want to make it to be very long because there are many different, a lot of difference. Okay, so now to test coverage. Uh, Code coverage for unit testing was already implemented, but once we're using on the fly instrumentation for the integration test, it could not go. This was due to the fact that we could not get access to the classes that were deployed on the wall using the cargo plugin. So even though I tried to set the cargo JVM with the address to the Java agent for the Jaco runtime, it was not still going. So we had to go into instrumentation of the WAR before we, before deploying it on cargo. So this is what I'm talking about when I tried to set the cargo start JVMs to use a Jaco runtime as Java agent. I did not go. Okay. So the task for instrumenting the classes. So you instrument the classes and send them to the classes of instrument. So once the tests are run, they're supposed to run with these classes. Having some issues to configure it very well, but getting there by bit. So once you run clean tests, you instrument the classes right after enhance. And having an issue with one particular field test. This was due to the fact that in the classes are duplicated between the class that instrumented with with Jaco code and with the normal classes already. So I was having some difficulties trying to figure it out. This why it's because you see class the instrument and normal classes. The duplication class held check part. So I have an issue there I'm still trying to fix, but the coming days I'm still looking into it and discussing. I think that's all for the showcase, and thank for giving me the opportunity to learn and grow with Fineract. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Percy. Are there any questions on the various items that Percy walked us through? Okay, well, thank you as well to Awesome, who was primarily guiding Percy as his mentor. And next up, Rahul, we'll let you begin sharing your screen. So Rahul was working on the latest iteration of the credit bureau integration module. And now, we're very close to finally having this that we're going to ship as part of an upcoming release. So it's a long-standing project that Rahul was finally able to get access to APIs of a working credit bureau to begin, which actually, test out and move the module into production. So take it away, Rahul. Looking forward to your demonstration today.
Yeah. So hello everyone. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah. So hello everyone. I'm Rahul, and I have worked on the Credit Bureau Integration Phase 3 project, where I have integrated the Tirsawa Credit Bureau of Myanmar, and also I have created a base infrastructure for like generic request response module, which will be used for this current credit bureau and also for the future credit bureaus. For now, we will start with the mapping module, like the module which maps the loan product with the credit bureau. So the mapping module is in external services. This mapping module does like we have to add first we have to add the credit bureau, and since we have integrated the Tirsawa credit bureau, so it is shown here, and we have to give a user-friendly name. After adding the Tirsawa credit bureau, we have to map it with the loan product. So the use of this mapping is like, if suppose if there is a loan product specifically developed for Kenya, so and there is a credit bureau of Kenya, and these both are mapped together from here. So whenever the client will apply the loan from the specifically developed Kenya's loan product, so the user will get to know that the user will get to know that from which credit bureau the credit report will be fetched. So the user does not need to worry about from which credit bureau he has to choose. So now this credit bureau, the mapping has been done with the loan product, and it is still been disabled yet. I have kept it disabled just to like show like where the credit check button will be seen. So it should be seen here. So now this client one has applied the loan from the Myanmar loan product. I've named as Myanmar loan product. So the button should be available, seen here as soon as I have enabled it. So I've mapped it and I have enabled it, and now I will be seen. I can see the credit check button. Okay, so now the user will as soon as the user will click on this credit check button, the user will get to know that this client has applied the loan from this loan product, and so this loan product is mapped to this TITSA work. So the user does not need to select from which credit bureau he has to fetch the credit report. So now I will generate the credit report. So now before I further fetch the credit report, I will like to explain how the architecture works. So there is a generic base which I have created here. This is the backend. So all the credit request, all the requests for the credit report will be passed here initially. So like Equifax, like the credit bureau like Equifax and the CIBIL or the TransUnion, all the credit requests will be passed here, and this module will send the request further specific to that credit bureau. And so if I've sent the request for the credit bureau ID 1, so that means the request is for TITSA work. So my request will be passed to this credit report, TITSA work credit bureau. So from here we will understand like how the TITSA work credit bureau works. So the TITSA work credit bureau requires has the three requirements. It should the request should have the credentials, the request should have the whitelisted IP, and the request should be like fetched from the credit bureau. So as soon as there is a credential and there is a token, the second requirement is token, the first requirement is credential, and the third requirement is the request should be passed from the whitelisted IP. So first we will pass the request, and if the token is not available, this module will generate a token, and after generating the token it will be used for the further request. And for the further request, so initially the user will send the NRC number. After sending the NRC number, the API credit bureau TITSA work API will send the unique ID, and that unique ID should be again passed with the required credentials and the required token. And after passing this new request with the unique ID, the user will get the credit report. So we will first connect to the open VPN server, which will allow us to send the request from the static IP. So now I have connected to the OpenVPN server, which will allow me to send the request from the specific IP address, which has been whitelisted to the whitelisted in the TITSA work credit bureau API. So now I will send the request first. So now I don't have the token yet, but I just have the credentials, like username, password, subscription ID, and subscription key. These four credentials right now I have, but I don't have the token. So what this model will do is it will first create the token, and after creating the token, it will pass the request and create. After passing the request, it will get the unique ID, and after getting the unique ID, it will again pass the request with the unique ID and get the credit report. So this is the credit report for this NRC number. So the name of the client, gender, date of birth, father's name. So this is the active loan one. Active loan one. We don't have the permission like at the field level, so that's why it is been hidden. This is the active loan 2 of this specific NRC number, and this is the paid loan 1. So yeah, this was the credit report of this NRC number. So now the token has been created and passed to the request, pass with the request. So now we will pass the another NRC number just to know. So now we have created a token with the initials S1LY. So this is just the initials like we will keep in mind for now, like to know like this same token will be used again until and unless it is valid. Like this token is valid only for 15 days. Like the Thitsa work provides the token which is valid for 15 days. So now the token is valid for 1st October. Okay, so since it is available till the 1st October, it will be used again. So now we will pass the another request. Yeah, so this was the request for another request and active loan 1. Yeah, so this NRC was having only one active loan, so it is shown here. And as we can see, the token has been not changed yet. That means we have used the same token. Now suppose we have suppose the token has been expired, like 15 days has been passed and the token has been expired. So now today is 17 September. So I will make it as 16 September, like the yesterday. So this token was expired yesterday. So now the token should be changed. Like the new token will be created, and the user will not get to know like this. All the operations are happening in background. So he will be like, he does not have to worry about everything like this. So we are passing the new request. So new credit report has been fetched with this, and this has the active loan 1, and this has the active loan 2, and the token would have been changed. Like you can see, like the previous token was expired, so the previous token got deleted and the new token has been generated and has been used for this request. So this was the architecture of the Thitsa Credit Bureau. Like the user does not need to worry about the unique ID. Like every NRC will be every unique ID will depend on the NRC number, but we don't know the unique ID. Like we don't have to worry about the unique ID. So only we have to pass the NRC number and directly we will get the credit report. So we don't have to worry about every token and everything. I have developed the token module in the Fineract, which checks whether the token is available or not, and even the token is not available, it creates, and if it is available, then it validates whether it is valid or not, and if it validates, then only it send the another request. So now this was like the demonstration for the client which has applied for the loan. Correct? Like the client has applied for the loan and from the specific loan product, like the Myanmar loan product, and after he has applied for the loan product and has been we got to know that it is a Thitsa Credit Bureau because it has been mapped. Correct? So if there is a case where a client has not applied for any loan, So we don't have the, if the client has not applied for the loan, then we don't have the loan product. And if we don't know the loan product, then we will not get to know which credit bureau it is. Like it has been not mapped yet, correct? So in that, for that case, we have created a tab here, credit report tab, which is like does not need to know like which loan it is applied or anything like that. We just have to select which credit bureau the request should be sent, and after selecting the credit bureau, we can go to it, and it will route it to the specific page of the specific credit bureau. So like here it was the case in the first case, we did not selected any credit bureau, correct? Like it is already been mapped, and but in that case, in the case where the credit bureau is not where the client is not applied for the loan, in that phase the client has to select it. So yeah, that was my project.
Okay, thank you, Rahul. And then in terms of, is there ability to push data from Mifos into the credit bureau yet? So, like if you wanted to.
Yeah, but that has that feature that has been not integrated yet. But
Okay, but that it's part of the ongoing roadmap still.
Yeah. I will generate it. I will also work on the web app, where I will be transferring the screens from web app to web app, and I will also work on the file where we can push the records of the clients.
Rahul?
Hello. Hello.
But yeah, can you still hear me, Rahul?
Yeah.
Oh, I was saying Bharat had a question about how this could be extended to support credit bureaus for other countries. So are you able to reply to that question?
Yeah, like there is a generic credit bureau base which has been I have developed here. So the client only has to, like the first, for the developers only have to connect from this module. Like the further developer does not need to like generate a new infrastructure, like does not need to create a new commands which exchanges, like create a new request and creating nothing like that. He just need to like created a module here which is to be linked to this generic credit bureau base. So the and this and in the front end is also linked to this generic credit bureau base, where any parameter can be passed, like any number of parameters can be passed. Like for the server credit bureau case, there were three parameters which was passed, and two parameters which was passed. One was credit bureau ID, and the another was uh, NRC number. So for the like so this was independent, like we can pass the for if this Equifax requires another number of parameters, like Equifax can require 4 or 5 parameters, like that it's only require one parameter, that is NRC number. So the generic credit bureau can accept these 5 parameters and can be passed to this specific credit bureau. Hello.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Rahul, I was saying there was another question that Avik had regarding some of the generic credit bureau features that are supported. Could you respond to his question there too?
Yeah, like is there any any more features for this specific generic credit bureau module?
Yeah, did you, so Avik was wondering if it's tracking the credit bureau request and entire loan history.
Entire loan history.
Avik, did you want to speak to your question? If you want to come off mute.
Yeah, so usually all credit bureaus provides an array of
Yeah.
the number of the times the customer requested the credit bureau report, as well as not individual loan details. So those things could be supported in the generic credit bureau base, but is it supported? Is the question.
No, like like specific loan application, like how specific which loan he has applied for that. So nah, that has not been supported yet.
And is it tracking the number of like credit checks and the credit bureau requests that have been made? Is that being tracked, Rahul?
Yeah, like how many credit bureau we have integrated, like that.
No, how many times like a formal credit check or credit request has been made on, for that customer within the credit bureau?
No, like the how many times the request has been passed, like for the specific credit report. Yeah, that was the question. Like how many
No.
times I have
No, not you. Let's say this is one system. This same credit bureau tracks that how many times customer requested for a loan through other institutions as well. So, for example, Thitsa Works will tell customer A has requested for a loan 4 times in the last 2 years through these agencies. Right. So, is that information tracked in a Thitsa Works specific table or in a generic credit bureau specific table?
that we have not recorded, we have not we have not recording anything, we have just passing the request and we are getting the credit report.
Okay.
And then Rahul, this is all going to be like part of just a module within Fineract itself, or is it like a separate service with its own separate repository?
No, this is the part of the Fineract, we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it would be good, if we sort of had like tickets to reflect, the roadmap of what is planned to being worked on still, and then encouraging others, like Avik, to share tickets with feedback of features that would need to be supported as well. So
Yeah, sure. I will create a ticket.
okay, and then you're going to be working on some of these outstanding features now. You still have time to contribute post GSOC on a number of these outstanding items.
Yeah, I will work on the features which is been not implemented yet, and I will also work on the web app, where I will be transferring the screens from the community app to the web app, and I will also like to work on integrating the more credit bureau in future.
Okay, yeah, and then I think Rahul Bharat had one last question, and this was, I think, related to what I was asking as well, which is, part of like what you'll be working on is, reverse feeding of information back to the credit bureau periodically. And
Yeah.
Okay. And what currently is the frequency in which that would be done, and what would the process be for that? Have you mapped out or designed how that would work, pushing the information back from Mifos into the credit bureau?
Yeah, like
that
the
automatic process or something that's done manually for each customer?
No. There is a in the documentation there is a feature available in the Thitsa work where we can fetch the push the credit reports in the document in the document file, So we just have to create uh, like a method to get the file and pass it to the API. So there is a path available in the Titsa work where we can push the code, push the file.
Okay. Yeah, and then for others on the call, like if you have, access, at an API or sandbox level to test, and extend this to support the credit bureau within your region, we eagerly welcome that, as we want to, make sure it generically supports other credit bureaus in the way, information is both pushed and pulled to those credit bureaus. And so we chose to, work on the Myanmar one because that was the one that was most accessible, and we're able to fully, test out the credit bureau integration that we struggled in the past to get proper access to, some of the credit bureaus in India or Nigeria, but we'd like to make sure we're fully supporting those at a community level.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, but no, thank you very much to Rahul as well as Nikhil for guiding him, and I think Manoj was helping on the mentoring side as well. Okay, and then, yeah, so I'm trying to see if Ahmed is able to join. Unfortunately, he's dealing with a power cut in his area, and he had, a very extensive showcase he was looking forward to sharing with everyone. But if his power doesn't get connected within the next couple minutes, he will just record his showcase for the enhancements he's done to Fineract CN mobile, and then we'll share that with the rest of the community. But while we're waiting to see if he possibly can join, let me see if I can just, briefly go through his GIST report. So we're doing that at least with the community. So just one moment, I'm going to bring that up. Okay, just bear with me. I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, so let me just quickly, walk you through the report that Ahmed created for his work during Summer of Code. So Ahmed was working on the latest version of Fineract CN Mobile, which is our mobile field operations app that works on top of Fineract CN. So Ahmed was able to accomplish a substantial amount during his internship, despite not having APIs available or not having some clarity around certain features. So we really applaud his efforts and look forward to his contributions into the future. So one of the features he added within the Fineract CN mobile app is the ability to create a new ledger. So here you can see some of the GIFs just demonstrating what this process looks like, both creating a ledger or subledgers within the mobile field operations app. And then the ability to edit the details of a loan wasn't existing yet in Fineract CN mobile. So he added those capabilities in where a field officer could edit a loan that hadn't been approved or canceled. And then there were a number of different UI enhancements at the group level that Ahmed had worked on. And I'm just scrolling through those briefly here. The fourth area of work that Ahmed focused on was, improving the settings screen, and then implementing the ability for the passcode to be changed, so that he incorporated some of these enhancements that are being made to the passcode library into the application. And then Ahmed also worked on adding the feature for supporting task management at a loan account level. So being able to approve the loan, close, reject, or delete it. And then similar to what we've done with our other applications, Ahmed has added more support for Kotlin within the application itself and beginning the refactoring into Kotlin. And then there were a number of pull requests that were still outstanding in the project, and Ahmed reviewed all of those. And then a major area that Ahmed worked on and really needed to guide himself was researching an offline first approach using Couchbase. And so he's thoroughly documented what he's implemented and shared that already with the community. And then since we had a Fineract CN demo instance available, he was able to test out the functionalities of that. And then he's also implemented some of the remaining functionalities around roles and permissions that you can see on these screens. And Ahmed was also, able to incorporate some of the GIS features that were similarly available on the Android app for Fineract, and these are now present in Fineract CN. And you can see, the ability to add a pin for the location of the user, showing nearby customers, navigating to a customer and showing the route map, searching for places and showing previous places that the field officer had visited, as well as saving the user path to an ongoing notification as they're traveling about. And then this is where Ahmed has documented integrating the app with Couchbase for these offline first features. And Ahmed has also added a number of UI and integration tests as well. So as you can see throughout Summer of Code, Ahmed really accomplished a lot on top of Fineract CN Mobile, and I'm disappointed that he didn't have power and the ability to share live with everyone his impressive work. But like I said, I'll have him record his showcase, and then when we send out the links to the recordings from our previous showcases, we'll make sure that's included, because I want to make sure everybody can see all the valuable work he's done on top of Fineract CN Mobile. But with all that being said, I want to thank once again all of our interns and their mentors for all of their contributions this past summer. We'll send out the official wrap-up blog post very soon. And like I've said on previous calls, we're really looking forward to this being just the beginning of the journey of our interns through Summer of Code, and we're hoping to help you become the maintainers of the repositories and the projects that you worked on, helping you to continue actively contributing, helping you become members of partner organizations, or help you take on opportunities to advance your career professionally, and really eager to have you be a long-term part of the future moving forward. So we're looking forward to hopefully participating in Summer of Code next year as well. And we really invite the rest of the community and anybody interested in mentoring to step up and become involved, as we continue to bring on really valuable students across all areas of the project, and especially on the mobile front, we still sometimes struggle to have the full capacity needed to probably mentor our students. So if you're a member of a partner organization or a member of our community and have, like that skill set and, the willingness to want to help guide others, we really would value you coming on as a mentor in the future, so we can have and give proper hands-on mentorship experience to our interns. But thank you all the community who attended today, and expect the links to the recordings in the near future. So before we close, just see if there's any remaining questions, and then we'll just wrap up for the day.
Hello. Hello, Ed.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
I
I can
wanted
talk.
to say that you sent a mail regarding the contract, but I haven't heard back about that from you after that. I have replied in that
Yeah,
node
I'll
only.
follow up. Yeah, I'll follow up with details on that. Ashutosh, thanks for reminding me.
Yes, thank you, Ed.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Have a good, rest of your evening and afternoon, and stay safe and well. And we'll be sending out the recordings and details soon. And then just one moment, Seth, did you have a question? If you wanted to type it in the chat, feel free to do so. I saw you raised your hand. So. Okay, yes, Seth, I didn't see a question or any question yet in the chat, but if you, have something you'd like to reach out about, feel free to connect directly via email. Okay, thank you again. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Cheers.
Bye-bye.